Bud Light and the promise I made to myself a long time ago. You may be asking yourselves why I made this sobriety promise to myself, and that is the other component of my life I'll be sharing with you tonight. Before I tell you, I would like to ask that you listen with open ears and from a non-judgmental standpoint. My goal for tonight is to convey with you something I'm incredibly passionate about. And hopefully my next few words will stick with some of you. My mom is an alcoholic. She has struggled with alcoholism and depression all her adult life. Time and time again, she's attempted to better herself in rehab, 12 times to be exact, and with each attempt came more and more relapses to devastate my family. I would like to point out that I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that my mom never fails to seek help. But with each goodbye, I find myself wishing that she would have chosen me over the bottle. If you care to do the math, 12 times at rehab, each visit varying 1 to 8 months, my mom has missed more than 3 years of my life. Because of her drinking, I have not been able to have a steady relationship with my mom for 6 years. Let me tell you, it is the worst feeling in the world knowing that if my mom could just get her act together, I would have a mom. Simple as that, right? Well, turns out it isn't that easy. My mom can't just get her act together. Alcoholism is a disease where your brain is telling you that you need alcohol, leading to compulsive behavior based upon the alcohol dependency. In my personal experience, the aforementioned alcohol dependency in my mom has taken everything away from her. It has taken everything away from my family, and it has stripped me of a mom and made my life a living hell. This is why I can't and won't drink. Alcoholism is often genetic, meaning that my brothers and I could easily carry the gene, and my biggest fear is ending up in the same position as my mom. I consider this a blessing and a curse because it's a liberating feeling, knowing that I'm strong enough to not drink and alcohol will never be able to control me. I still remember the first time my mom's disease ruined something special for me. It was my 10th birthday, and my grandparents had come to visit for the occasion. I was all ready to go to my favorite restaurant when my dad informed me the bad news that my mom had an allergic reaction to some wine. She remained in her room for the entirety of that night as I went to dinner and opened presents, missing my mom. The worst part of the night, looking back, is that I felt bad for my mom because I thought she was sick due to this allergic reaction, when in reality, she had picked a bottle over me. So there I was, 10 years old, feeling sorry for my mom because she was allergic to wine. Soon after that, she left for a few months to go to mommy camp, where moms go to have fun and learn how to be a better mom. That was the first time she went to rehab. Little did I know how my life would change from that point forward. In the following years, my mom was in and out of rehab for months on end. 6th grade brought the divorce of my parents nearly a week after she returned home from rehab. After the divorce came an endless tunnel of relapses and disappointments. I learned how to be a mom, took on the responsibility that my mom wasn't carrying, and grew up way faster than anyone should have to. In the following years, my oldest brother, who was 18, stopped talking to my mom, and I was just being dragged along in hopes of her recovery. Again, more and more rehab and endless apologies that meant nothing. But still, I went back to my mom in hopes of a relationship. It wasn't until this summer, upon my return home from an 18-day camping trip in Colorado, that I learned that I couldn't keep going back to my mom. Now, I'm going to tell you my story from the summer, cut down a lot due to the fact that it was the single longest and most disastrous day of my life. But here's the gist of what occurred. I was coming home from Colorado with my friend who had accompanied me on the trip. My mom was supposed to pick us up at the Colorado Springs airport and bring us to her hotel until our flight later that night. My friend and I ended up taking a taxi from the airport to her hotel because she wasn't in the position to drive. And as soon as I got out of the taxi, I knew it was into our terminal where I sat her down, gave her a pillow and blanket, and forced her to sleep. I thought it couldn't get worse, but of course, I was wrong. She ended up leaving for about an hour, without telling me where she was going, and came back stumbling and slurring even more than before. She had the audacity to drink more while she was supposed to be there for me. I was enraged. There she was, acting like a child, embarrassing me, and eventually acting out until the rest of the airport could see as well. The situation escalated to the point where my mom was surrounded by a crowd of people. A random woman came up to me, asked me if I was my mom, causing me to burst into tears. The woman told me that I didn't have to deal with this, and I deserved better. She told me that I'd make the decision of what to do with my mom, and at that point, I wanted my mom gone, and I never wanted to see her face again. The police ended up coming and taking my mom away, and my friend and I flew home alone that night. There were so many people that came up to me and asked me if that was my mom and offered their deepest apologies. I was mortified. I ended up cutting off all contact with my mom for about 3 months after that. However, as the cycle goes, I forgave her, we built back a relationship, and 3 weeks ago, I was devastated again as she relapsed the night my friends and I were getting ready for ring dance. It was the Denver airport all over again. You would never look at my mom and guess that any of this happens, but it does. When I think about my mom when she was my age, I wonder that if she had taken a moment to think before she started drinking, that she wouldn't be in the position that she is today. Though I can't change my situation with my mom, I can use my story to show the impact of alcohol on someone's life when they allow themselves to be put in a situation where they are no longer in control. For me, making the decision not to drink was necessary because I want to be the best mom in the world for my kids someday, and I will not let a substance get in the way of that. Not drinking at parties isn't always the easy way out, but it is an option, and if that's what you choose, I hope you know you aren't alone. What I have learned is that no one cares if you aren't drinking at parties. It isn't social suicide to pass up that beer, and more often than not, when I tell people I don't drink, I get reactions like, wow, that's amazing, good for you, or geez, I wish I could do that. And my response to that last phrase is, you can do it. You do not need to drink. And if you find yourself wishing you could pass with beers too, please come talk to me. It might seem hard, but it isn't impossible. And I'm here to help, along with many other resources. Personally, I go to therapy regularly, as well as a support group called Alateen. There's always support, and you're never alone. If you only take one thing away from me telling my story tonight, I would like it to be this. I am not telling you not to drink because I know a lot of you will. Rather, I'm asking you to take a moment to think before you engage in underage drinking. Although it might not seem like it, your decisions now can impact your future. So please, before you take a sip, ask yourself the following. How is your current mental state? Are you prepared to face the repercussions of getting drunk? Are you taking into consideration your family history? Are there any potential addicts in your bloodline? Can you control yourself, or are you just giving in to peer pressure? And most importantly, do you need this? My mom had no clue that these stories I just told you would be her future. I can just about promise you, if she had taken a step back and thought about her decision to drink, about the alcoholism in her blood, and unstable mental state, she wouldn't have done it. I would have a